Hey, what's up YouTube? In this video, we'll be making part 2 of our modern bus station. That includes the entire outside area of our bus station, all of the road and walls and parking spaces and bays that you will have seen. We will also finally be moving to the inside, where we will be making an extensive lounging area and also ticket collection area, a bathroom, a cafe, and also a help desk. Before we get this started, ladies and gentlemen, I do want to point out that this is part 2 of our tutorial. To make all of the things that I've just showed you, we will need, for this tutorial to work, we will have had to have made this right behind me. This is the bus station without any of the really cool things added to it that we saw at the start of the video. So do make sure that you are ready. You've watched part 1. You are ready to make this. If you have to, go to part 1. The link to that will be in the card system description below and the top of the comment section too. You will be able to find it so easily. Trust me, you will. And also, just as a side note, I really appreciate you guys, and if you do like these tutorials and you haven't yet, please subscribe to the channel and click the little bell next to the subscription button. That'll make sure that you don't miss any of these tutorials, because not only are we making the bus station, but I'm also going to be showing you guys how to build not 1, not 2, not even 3, but 4 different kinds of buses, and also a bus stop. I'm sure that you guys would not want to miss any of those. I think that that's pretty much everything covered, ladies and gentlemen. Before we start this tutorial, we are going to need to grab all of these materials that you can see on the screen right now. Please do make sure that you have access to all of those materials and enough of them as well. We will also be grabbing stuff later on too as we progress through the build, but we only have so many room in our hands. Step 1, ladies and gentlemen, we have a lot of ground to cover. Literally rip up and cover. So what we have to do first of all is we have to mark an area around our bus station. We want to have a row of 2 smooth stone going around the entirety of our bus station. And we don't just have the row of 2 stone, we do have a little bit of a larger area to cover as well. But at its base, we want to have 2 rows of walking space of smooth stone orbiting around our bus station. Now, we're not going to fill the entirety of this area in just yet. As a matter of fact, there are some things that we will be doing off recording, just because it's a bit easier that way, ladies and gentlemen. You don't want to see me rip up a huge area and replace it with a material. That'd probably be a little bit boring to watch. So, first, we start off with the 2 rows of smooth stone that go all the way around our bus station. That's step 1. The next thing that we have to do concentrates on the front of the bus station, and this is going to be the bays. So each specific bus is going to have a bay that it will go to, and then you can get on and go on your merry way. The first bay is going to begin here, where we have this row of quartz block, so joining down to the ground. And in the ground, extending outwards from the smooth stone, we want to have a row of 11, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 white concrete extending outwards from that block. And we want to have the same extending outwards from this block of quartz as well, so the block of quartz that we have right here next to it. And in addition to that, we're going to have that one more time. We're going to have another row following the quartz pillars along. We want to have the white concrete. And coming over to this side here, from the left side of the entrance, we also want to have the row of 11 white concrete extending outward. So in total, there are 4 bays in the front of the bus station. And I'm going to show you how to make 4 buses later on. Who designs these things? That's so perfect. I'm kidding. Anyway, now that we have the rows of white concrete, what we're now going to do is on the outside of the rows of white concrete, to the right of the rows of white concrete, we want to have 2 rows of smooth stone. So to the right of every single row of the white concrete, we want to have 2 rows of smooth stone. So again, I'm not filling everything in at this moment in time because it will take forever. But to the right of every single one of them, and that also includes over here as well, although this actually has a slightly different story, but we'll do it over here anyway, just for the sake of continuity. We want to add all of the rows of smooth stone, like that. And then you may even be able to tell with these 2 spaces in particular, in between all of this, we're going to want to place 4 rows, it's 4 rows of grey concrete to the left, always the left of the white concrete, and this is actually where the buses are going to be. So the smooth stone is where you can like walk up to the side of the bus and get on, and the grey concrete is where the actual buses shall be. So that's basically the whole deal, because if the buses were to be, if they were to have reverse parked into these spaces, then if you can imagine that the bus like is facing that way, like the engines over here. Actually, bus engines I think are in the back of the... Anyway, regardless, the driver is over there, so you would walk up this path. You would board the bus here. If the bus had any like baggage or anything, that you could chuck it underneath depending on what kind it is. And you guys get the whole idea. So we want to have all of these bays. And that even accounts for this row of white concrete here. So this row of white concrete that we have continuing on, you can see that we have these 3 bays, and then it kind of doesn't go anywhere, but that's okay. And then 1, 2, 3, 4 here as well. The rows of white concrete are actually perfectly designed to be about as long as the buses are. So that's what, it's not an arbitrary number 11. So, and also it happens to be, I'm a fan of Stranger Things, so it's 11. I made that up. I am a fan of Stranger Things, but it has nothing to do with the length of the rows. Anyway, what we now want to do is we want to fill this left area here. This area is going to be smooth stone. So this area just like left of this very end lonesome, this is actually where a coach would be, lonesome bus lane. That's all going to be smooth stone. In addition to that, this area in between the 2 like sides of the bus station are also going to be smooth stone as well. So you can see how this is all kind of like laid out and planned out now. We're going to have just here kind of like a little feature. It's going to be like 1, 2, 3 bricks, and it's going to extend all the way back, and it's going to sit inside the smooth stone. And we're just going to have like some oak leaves and some flowers. That's basically just to make this area look a little bit nicer. You can kind of do whatever you want to this area, to be quite honest. You really don't have to, you know, you don't have to do one specific thing, really. You know, you could make this bigger, you could make this smaller, but you guys kind of get the idea. Once that's all filled in, I think that that will look fantastic, and we'll be doing that later, of course. The next thing that we're going to do is we are going to head behind the bus station. So when it comes to the behind part here, we actually want to add 4 more rows, 1, 2, 3, 4, of smooth stone in the ground that is the width of like the entire path, like the entire smooth stone area that is around the bus station. It wants to be the same width, and it wants to stick out 4 rows out of the back of the bus station. And back here, basically, we just have a little bit of decoration, and this can be made in any sort of way. We're just going to use some like bricks, and we're just going to kind of like have just some like flower arrangements, and maybe so just a little bit of something to look at just on this particular part of the bus station. So, you know, maybe just a few flower beds, something like that. We'll have the same thing over here, of course. Just something to look at. It can be as far away from this area as you want. I mean, you could even no, I'd actually prefer to have 2 rows there. But you guys get the idea. You could use a hedge in the form of leaves, or you could use some flowers, you know, something like that, just to kind of add a little something to the bus station. In addition to this, what we are also going to do is we are going to form some walls around the bus station. So this is, I know that this seems a little bit weird, but basically, where we have this kind of like back corner of the bus station, where the corner joins down to the ground, not where we have the overhang. So here, this corner, we have this gap of 2 already with the smooth stone. We then want to continue and we want to have a gap of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And you can even place grey concrete in there if you like. And we want to place a brick block on the end. Now, this brick block wants to do 2 things. Number 1, the brick is going to extend forward and it's going to be even and level with the smooth stone that we have just to the left. But this same brick block wants to extend all the way to the outer boundary, and it wants to then from the outer boundary extend forwards to the other outer boundary, so all the way to here. And not only that, we also want to have a row of bricks that extends from this outer boundary, this corner, all the way back, and it's going to go as far forward as the smooth stone, so over there. And this brick wall, all of the brick wall, not just this left one here, all of this is actually going to be 2 rows high. You can make it bigger, but I think 2 rows is actually a decent size for a wall. We're not trying to protect a manor here, we're trying to protect a bus station. I don't think that we have like, we're not keeping like, I don't know, like the crown jewels in the bus station. So I feel as though a row of 2 will actually be quite sufficient. So, just to give you guys kind of like an air view, there we go. You can see how this is all shaping up, and it's quite shapely as well. Well, what else do we want to do? From this inside corner, the back right-hand corner-ish area here, we want to have loads of rows of 11 white concrete, starting from this corner. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Rows of 11 white concrete here, yeah, in this back corner, moving forwards, with gaps of 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 in between them, and then we want to have the rows of 11. So you may very well find it easier to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You might find it easier to kind of like mark out this area yourself. Hang on, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so it will go there, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. And what's quite handy about this is that the final row will actually line up perfectly with the end here, and it will be a row of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 here, and then the rest of this would be grey concrete, if that makes sense. And as a matter of fact, most of this area is going to be filled in with grey concrete. That is certainly the primary material that we will be using. Again, we're not doing it quite yet. We might as well fill in the entire area, all of the areas that need filling in with stuff. We might as well do it all at the same point, but we're just making the base for the buses, because if you guys have ever been to a bus station, even like a quite a small bus station really, I mean, you'll usually have more than 3 buses, right, or 4 buses. We only have 4 but I mean, it could be extended if you want. But the point of the matter is that we can have a surplus of buses to the right of us, or you could perhaps use this as personal parking, although we do have some of that as well. But I like the idea, if you don't want to cover up the front of your pretty bus station, then you can have all different kinds of buses, and you've got enough room for, I mean, how many are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then if you used all of these, 9, 10, 11, 12, you can have 12 different kinds of buses. So that's kind of like how we now are shaping things up. You can see there's only actually one little area that we have left to kind of like sort out on the outside, and we're going to do that now. And this area is just out here. So this area here that is kind of like segmented away from everything else. And basically what we're going to do is we're going to place some hedging, and we're going to use some smooth stone, 1, 2, 3 rows, and then it's going to join all the way over to the wall here, and then we're going to have some oak leaves at the back, and we're going to place some azure bluettes inside there. So just make it look a little bit nice. And then we will just have some conventional car parking spaces. So we already have a row of white here, which will do just fine. The row of white actually wants to cut off where the wall would be there. And then if we leave rows of, I do believe 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 white concrete, or it might be 3, 1, 2, 3, 4 white concrete, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then that just slots in there perfectly. And then the rows of white concrete simply want to be as long as the wall, like that. And then we want to have rows of grey concrete, or I should say loads and loads of grey concrete. We just want we just need loads of grey concrete everywhere else. I mean, you guys should hopefully be able to see where you have got to fill in, like what you've got to fill in where. But again, we'll be tackling that later because the inside also has some problematic areas where we are going to want to mass fill things in as well. So now you can see, basically, we just fill these smooth stone areas with smooth stone, and we fill the rest of the area in with grey concrete, and we will be doing that again later on. But we're going to drop down now. We've done a really good job with the outside. That's the outside almost complete. I know it doesn't look like it, but I mean, it kind of is. And we're now going to head... Hang on, I like to do this. We're now going to head inside of the building, and we are going to start things off in here. And it's a pretty decent sized building, isn't it, ladies and gentlemen? It's not too bad. So the first thing that I think that we have to do is we have to start separating things. We have to start segmenting things. We have a bathroom. The bathroom starts from this corner here, where this like window ends here in the ground. It starts from this corner, and we're using bricks, and it joins to the entrance way. So that's probably literally the easiest way that I could have done that, is we take this bottom corner here, extend across, and then back to the front of the build. And then you can just extend that the corner brick, all the way up. I'd always recommend extending the red concrete through the build, because it seems quite natural rather than to kind of like fight against the materials that we've used. I feel as though it's kind of cool to kind of like integrate them. I also feel the same sort of thing, although we don't have it on us, although I'm sure that I will have included it in the item list. I feel as though it's also a good thing to do that with the glass as well. So where you can, use the glass and the red concrete. And then when it comes to these walls, I'm actually a little bit torn about these walls, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know what to do about them. You see, I don't know whether to fill them in using bricks and just bricks, or I don't know whether to place white concrete in them as well. It's actually quite a conundrum. I don't know which to do. I might have white on the inside and brick on the outside. What's important though is that we are able to get into the bathroom. I think you can have a double door without disturbing anything, so I think that I will have one of those. What's important to do in here as well is that we will have to destroy all the floor, replace it with glazed terracotta, and we will have to add ceilings in here too. Now the ceiling throughout the entire bus station is actually going to sit directly just underneath this glass here. So later on, again, mass filling in. I know, I'm sorry, but I did say mass filling in. We're going to have to fill the floor in here with white glazed terracotta and the ceiling in here with chiseled quartz block. But that's the bathroom area. An equally important area just to the right, and we want to build it in the same way. We want to take the opposite end of the entrance here. We want to extend it forwards until it is even and level with the bricks there. We can extend the bricks upwards, and then we can place the 2 rows of light blue glass extending down from the bottom. In addition to that, the 2 rows of red concrete underneath. And then in addition to that, I do think I'm going to go with the white concrete for this particular part of the wall. I think it looks kind of nice. It reminds me of Colgate toothpaste a little bit, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know how many of you guys have Colgate all around the world, but if you do know what Colgate is, you'll know what I'm talking about. It kind of reminds me of Colgate toothpaste, but yeah, I think it's a pretty decent looking area like that. And what we're also going to have to do is we are going to have to extend some of the other parts forwards. So we're not actually extending this middle row of bricks forwards. We might extend the bricks, right? Actually, we might extend the red concrete forwards here. And have it extend, but we're not extending the bricks, but we still do want to have the row of bricks as kind of like separation, like here, if that makes sense. And we still want to, we may as well still have the glass, and we may as well just still have the red concrete again for continuity. But we actually want this part to be open. Where we do not want this is here. So this row of bricks here, we can actually extend the entire row of bricks. I'm not sure whether I don't think that I'm going to place the white concrete in this particular instance. I'm kind of thinking about I don't even know whether I want the red concrete in this part, because this is the coffee shop, you see. We can always change it later on. We'll see how it looks. I haven't done that much experimenting with the color schemes, quite honestly, so it might very well be that I do actually like that. But we want to have kind of like separated these things. We want to place rows of red concrete in between them as well. Not where the entrance is. I want that to be nice and open, like this specific part here, like walking through that wants to be open. But all of these other parts, you can have the red concretes like joining in between, just like this. And we'll have the glass above, and we'll also be adding different floors, and we'll also be adding different ceilings. There we go. I completely forgot the word ceiling. So we're going to fill all these in. There we go. And then you can see now, it's quite obvious now how it was designed, right? I mean, one part, one part, one part, one part. I mean, quite easy to see where the design influence came from. So all of these are going to have the same ceiling. It's going to be a chiseled quartz block. It's going to sit directly under the glass that we have on the side. So chiseled quartz block we can just have like here, and also here as well. And you guys get the picture. So all of that will all have ceilings. Let's work our way from like left to right. So here, I'm going to join the two brick sides together, like the left brick and the middle brick. I'm going to join it together. And I'm actually going to place some white stained glass pane here, because this is kind of like a help desk slash ticket collection slash whatever, you know, that's what this area is. And I think that there's actually a row of bricks. I do want to make sure that this is correct. There is a row of bricks that kind of like separates this area too, which we might as well add now. It's right in the middle, so where would the middle be? It looks as though it would be there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Perfect. So just to kind of like separate things a little bit, I'd have the little row of bricks. It also has a little help desk. The help desk is predominantly made out of red concrete. So over here in this back corner, if you like move over one and place like 1, 2, 3 rows of red concrete and extend all the way over to the right, and then probably leave about a gap of 2 and then some more red concrete here just to kind of like make the little desk. In addition to that, there's going to be some seats in here too, but we can sort that out a little bit later. So that's a bit of the red concrete. There's also some red concrete that we can add as well here in the coffee shop. So if you start in the back corner of the coffee shop here and you leave a gap of like, do we have the we actually have quartz stairs, so we can do some of this. We're going to have a table here, so we'll have a table, quartz stair, red concrete, quartz stair, table, quartz stair, red concrete, quartz stair, table, quartz stair, red concrete, quartz stair, and then there'll be another table here. So you can see that we've got a whole little collection of tables. There's going to be a desk, or what would you call it, like a counter where you can order your coffee, and that's going to be made out of pretty much red concrete and some quartz slabs as well. And the first red concrete is going to be like here, even with this red concrete, and the last red concrete is going to be here, even with the last red concrete. And we're going to extend the counter outwards. How many rows do we need? I mean, we could probably extend it 3 rows, and then that way we've got quite a lot of space. And then we can place some quartz slabs in between like this. So just kind of like setting ourselves up for success. And where does this come into next? Well, we're going to need oak wood planks and green terracotta. This middle area here, all of this floor will actually be oak wood. So this entire like particular section, all that's going to be oak wood. So that can be filled in with oak wood. The coffee shop is going to be pretty much mostly green terracotta, but I did experiment a little bit with placing some white concrete kind of like on these sides like this. So underneath where the tables are, so just like on both sides, like where the tables are, and like here for instance, like I experimented with kind of having like that sort of setup. So you might want to try it yourself. You'll just have to see if you like it as we kind of like progress along. Well, what else are we going to be doing around here? Well, in this area, I keep hopping back and forth, and I'm sorry for keep hopping back and forth, but hey, my brain. we can actually use some quartz stairs in this part too. So we're going to have 2 seats. These seats, if we start from this corner here, we're going to have a row of 1, 2, 3, 4, and then that way it will kind of sit perfectly in this middle section here. And then we'll have like a gap of 1, and then we're actually going to have like a white glazed terracotta, and there'll actually be a plant above it too, and then a gap of 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, kind of like this. And then we'll leave a gap between the seats, probably about a gap of 3, like 1, 2, 3, and then we'll have some more seats. And then that way you'll be able to walk behind, them to this area too. So 1, 2, 3, 4, kind of like that, right? That's not looking too bad. And we will have some stairs here. This is going to be for some computers, so like 1 and 2, kind of just like probably about 2 blocks inwards. From each end we'll have each quartz stair like that. That's not looking too bad at all. The toilets don't really use too much quartz stair. Actually, there is 1 quartz stair in the toilet as well. Since we're using quartz stairs, there's a quartz stairs in the toilet here. And it's actually just right in the corner. It's like an upside down quartz stair, just 1 row off the ground. And it's actually going to be a hand dryer when we get to it. So, yeah. On the outside part here, we have a lot of seating, hence some more quartz stairs. And the seating is mostly made out of quartz stairs. We need a little bit of quartz slab for this too. And any color concrete block that you like, but red seems to kind of go. If we start from this long end here, I'm going to have just a large curved kind of like sofa that people can chill out on, red concrete in the corners, and then kind of like a little table. So this is like just a big lounging comfy area. You can add peripherals, like you can add flower pots and stuff around the sides. You can add buttons if you like, but you know, that's for the most part, that's what that is. We're going to have a sofa in the middle of the windows here as well, so just more seating. Same thing here, we're going to have just more seating, and then at the end here I think that we're also going to have the same sort of thing actually. I think that, yeah, I'm pretty sure it's the same though. So here, just like a big corner sort of sofa, just to kind of like chill out and relax. If you want to put different things in, like coffee machines and stuff like that, then feel free, but that'll, you know, that's up to you, you know, you do you. We're going to have some machines that you can get tickets from, or maybe look up times and stuff. So light grey concrete, quartz slab. I accidentally got out the oak planks and paintings, oak signs, and some buttons. And you can kind of place these wherever. I like them just next to the entrance or exit here. 2 rows of light grey concrete on top of each other. A single painting at the top. Sign underneath them. And underneath the signs you could write bus to Reading, you know, 5:30 or you know, whatever, bus to Atlanta 7. You guys get the idea. It's kind of like a multi-purpose thing. You could even put an item frame with a paper in it if you wanted to. So like a paper and an item frame if you wanted that to actually look as though it like it printed tickets or some such. And you can place these wherever, like all over the place. So maybe like here and here, for instance. Here and here, and boop, boop, sign, button, sign, button. Yeah, so yeah, not looking too bad. Not looking too bad. The last little bit of, I guess, last little bit of thing that we're doing, I don't know, we're going to be using some chiseled quartz block, and chiseled quartz block is basically going to be everywhere else that we haven't decided where the floor is going to be. So the chiseled quartz block is actually going to cover up probably a huge part of this. The chiseled quartz block is the floor material, or shall we? Is chiseled quartz block too much, or do we use block of quartz? Because we have both. No, we don't. I don't know whether it's too much. I like the idea of having chiseled quartz for the floor. I'd use either chiseled quartz block or block of quartz. I'm going to try chisel because I don't think I did that in the... Actually, I did do that in the original, so I do like it. I'll let you guys be the judge, though. I mean, you can kind of use anything as the floor. I'd recommend kind of like adding kind of like carpet to kind of like represent rugs and stuff. Kind of like... just like in places where... just like this long hallway, like it would make sense if there was some like red carpet here. I think it'd make sense if there were also some like paintings. So maybe like here, and maybe if there was like some signs. So you know how there's always like posters and what have you through. There's always posters and stuff in these sorts of places. So I think it would make sense for there to be... I'm so dumb. There would make sense for there to be posters and paintings and decoration. And, you know, I mean, it might even say that this is a place that you can go. This is Surrey. You know, whatever. It doesn't really matter. I mean, you could use item frames too. But I like the idea of having maybe just... you can go to Karate Chop. I don't know. You can go to the town of Pain. But you guys get the idea. So, yeah, you could just do some paintings. I mean, there could be singles too. You don't have to, you know, you don't have to. There we go. See, something like that. Fix that. Just makes sense. So, like, if these were like, I don't know, it's just good decoration. I think it really helps to fill up that wall. It just looks a little bit better. And of course, once we've got the chiseled quartz there too. I like the idea of the red carpet kind of continuing all the way to the end here. So like it leads you through one side to the other side. You can even use red carpet in here too, so like where the information area is, just in between the seats, just to add a little bit of decor too. You could even do the same thing just in front of like the help desk, just to kind of like point people along. But that is a huge amount of stuff, ladies and gentlemen. That is a huge amount of stuff to do. We've actually made it a massive amount of the bus station now, including the inside. We just have to add some finer decorations. But lest you forget, what we have to do is fill the entire outside in with, where need be, smooth stone, everywhere else grey concrete. And then when it comes to the inside now, I like the idea of the outside area here being all filled in with chiseled quartz. The bathroom, of course, is going to be white glazed terracotta. The ceiling will be chiseled quartz too. All of the ceilings are chiseled quartz, and we'll be filling this in with green glazed terracotta and this oak. That's a lot to do, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to go away. I'm going to do all of that. I'm going to show you what this whole place looks like once that has been done. And then after that, we'll actually be grabbing ourselves the sea lanterns, and we'll be adding some light before we move on to the final decorations. But believe you me, I know it might not seem like we've done a huge amount, but we have. It's much easier from here. Oh boy, did that take a long time, ladies and gentlemen. That took so long. But basically, this is everything that's been done. Outside of the bus station, absolutely nailed it. We have all of the smooth stone, and we have all of the grey concrete added. That's pretty much all we had to do out here, and it looks so much better. As we move to the inside, you'll already be able to see that we have all of the carpet laid, and we have all of the chiseled quartz as well. As we go through the individual rooms, you're going to notice that the bathroom, floor done, ceiling done. We have the kind of like help desk area, floor done, ceilings done as well. And finally, the coffee shop area, sort of cafe area, floor and ceilings done. And that is pretty much all that had to be done whilst we cut away. I could not have done that on recording. That would have taken way too long. And of course, if you are working on all of that now, ladies and gentlemen, it will take you a long time. Pause the video if you have to. But just before we start working on finer details, I'm going to grab the sea lanterns and I'm going to install some lighting kind of all over the place. So it's like in the bathroom, I'm just going to like edge away, like I'm going to move one block inwards from each corner of the bathroom like this, and I'm just going to add like 3 sets of sea lanterns, and you're going to be able to see why and where I have placed these. So these sea lanterns are basically like one sea lantern coming in from each corner. We have one sea lantern like right in the middle of the room, and we have one set of sea lanterns just like here as well. And we're going to apply that logic pretty much everywhere. So here, for instance, we don't have to do it in the middle here, but we'll be able to add some like here and like here. And where would the middle be? The middle would be here. Yeah, perfect. And then if we wanted to, we could add just another set here as well. You can add some natural light in. You don't have to specifically use sea lanterns. Or you could even use redstone. redstone lamps if you wanted to. You could use glowstone with some trapdoors on. You could use torches. You could, you guys get the idea. But the point of the matter is that we want to add lighting to all of this. So, sea lanterns, just to me, oh no, where would the middle be? Oh, the middle would be here, where we have this row of bricks. It is always best to kind of like follow the shape of the build. And it's just like a nice amount of light. It looks like the kind of lights that you might see in kind of like a modern venue. I really like that. I think that it works really well. And once you've done all that, ladies and gentlemen, I don't think we'll ever need the sea lanterns anymore. The next thing that we're going to have to do is we are going to have to make each room individually. And there are only 3 of them in total. This hopefully won't take us very long, but we will need all of these materials that you can now see on the screen right now. So please, make sure that you have every single one of those. Grab all those materials, and once you do have them all, we can get started. Alright, so now that we have all of that stuff, we can get started. So the first area that I want to take care of is the bathroom. We have some business to take care of. And the first thing that we're going to do in here is we are going to make some toilet stalls. And we're going to start here over in the front left-hand corner-ish area. And we're going to place 1, 2, 3 white concrete on top of each other. And we're going to extend them towards us by 1 and 2. So, like that. And we're going to place some quartz slabs on top. And that's kind of how these things are going to go. So we're going to leave a gap of 2 and do the same. Gap of 2, do the same. Gap of 2, do the same. And then there won't be any more. And we just want to have all of these rows, just like this. Exact same. And these are going to be where the toilets are. We don't have any urinals, as it's going to be like a multi-sex bathroom. You can come in, like, you know, whatever gender you are, you know, whatever, you can use it. So we are going to just have toilet stalls. And basically, the toilets are a little annoying to make because we want to have, and it's such a little difference. You can almost just use a block of quartz, and I'm tempted to do that right now. The idea would be to have an upside down quartz stair at the back of the toilet against this wall. We want a cauldron in front. We want a block of iron on top. We want to use a weighted pressure plate as a toilet seat. We want to use a stone pressure plate as kind of like the thing at the back of the toilet, and a button on the side as a flush. And then if you wanted to, you can box these stalls in by using like doors, and you can kind of like, you know, make more quite elaborate if you like. You know, you could like have like a door here and then a stall, but I'm going to leave them open because you can't actually use them, of course. And that's how every single one of these toilets is going to go. But for the sake of my sanity, I'm going to use a block of iron instead of the upside down stairs for the rest of them. But I would prefer to use the stairs, and it's just so that I don't go crazy placing them because it's kind of hard for me to place. I don't know why. It's just I have a hard time doing it. There we go. So just a few sets of toilets. If you wanted to, you could add a little bit of decoration on the side. You could add, say, like for like toilet paper or whatever. You could have like that, or you could use paper equally. So like an item frame, and it kind of looks like the start of a toilet paper, or equally so you could use, like I said, I mean, paper would probably be the ideal, and I think that anybody looking at it, feathers would be horrible to use as toilet paper, or an empty map or whatever. You know, empty map is actually a slightly different color too, so, you know, my bad, I didn't mean to destroy that. So but you guys get the idea, right? So like that, and then that, and then there we go. So, you know, just to add a little bit of detail, or don't add that. It's completely up to you. You could even add like, I'd probably leave it at that, to be honest. I'd leave it exactly like that. So when it comes to the rest of the place, I'm going to stick a stone pressure plate here on top of the upside down stair that we placed earlier, and a button next to it. That's just kind of like a hand dryer. In this corner here, we're just going to have, say, like a couple of, we're going to have like a light grey concrete, and then perhaps like a cauldron, and a light grey concrete, and a soap dispenser, so like a block of iron with a pressure plate on top, and like a button that can be like a little soap dispenser, and this can be a sink, so we'll have a tripwire hook, and then we can use weighted pressure plates as kind of just like a counter. If you wanted a mirror, you could make one using a banner. There's actually a mirror banner that you could use, but, you know, that's completely up to you. You could even place like a potted plant somewhere, or maybe even like 2 of them if you wanted to. That'd be rather easy to do. do. I mean, you could use... I mean, we already have all the stuff that we need for a potted plant. So if you did want to, say, add one, like, I don't know, somewhere in here, probably right in the middle of the place is probably not a good idea. But you guys, you get the idea. You could even put, like, paintings on the wall and stuff. But, you know, just to make the bathroom look nice. I think it's already quite a decent looking bathroom. But, you know, that's your bathroom pretty much done. All we would have to do now is just put some doors on it. And then we're pretty good. So just a couple of doors. It's quite basic, honestly. It really is. But we're trying to keep it basic in here. If you want to make it fancier, then I would make it fancier, ladies and gentlemen. So that's not looking too bad. That's the bathroom. And if you wanted to label it as such, you could use your signs. If you wanted to, like, you'd write like unisex bathroom, meaning that anyone can go in there pretty much. Moving on down, this is the area where we get to chill out and we get to get tickets and stuff like that. So first of all, the kind of like chill out part, we're just going to have a potted plant. So that's going to be a flower pot and dead bush, leaves. We're going to have birch trapdoors on the ends of the seats. So on top of this glazed terracotta here, easy, pot, dead bush, 2 leaves. We're going to place jungle. We're going to place birch trap doors on the ends of these seats. You could also use iron trap doors, or any trap door as a matter of fact, but we've not really used very much birch in the construction, and we kind of used it a little bit outside, so we're kind of just keeping it up with this. You could even have another potted plant here if you wanted to, if you wanted what we call symmetry. But, you know, that's kind of up to you. Not even really necessary, to be honest with you. You could quite easily just have, like a little counter here, and maybe that could have just like a little plant in it. And equally so, you could then just have a lantern hanging above, something like that if you wanted to. As we get towards the back of the room here, we are going to have... we'll chuck a lantern just on the back corner here. We'll also have like a little I don't know what you'd call it, just so that people can't like just walk straight in. You got like flip it up and down, just kind of like a way to get in and out. Next to the computers, we're going to have weighted pressure plates and buttons to represent like a mouse and a keyboard. We're going to have Macs, so we're going to have an item frame and an apple for inside each one of these in these computers. The seats are going to be made out of quartz stairs, like this. And I guess you could put signs on the seats as well, like you could use signs to differentiate or a different kind of trapdoor, but you can just have 2 little seats. And then running along the back here, I mean, you could have, again, you could have just like scaffolding as kind of like a table. You could have like one here, and maybe even one here if you wanted to. I mean, I guess it depends whether you want to. Probably like one here, because then we can walk around. And you just have like a flower pot and a flower. And we can have hanging on the wall like paintings and some oak signs as to represent. Oh, and that's what we can do in the other part too. We can use item frames and white glass pane. And here we can just have what can we have? Where is it? There we go. We just have some signs. So some paintings. So they can be positioned where we have that middle light, and then here, and if we just leave a gap of 2 between them all, then we should be good. I think that's spaced properly. Yes, perfect. And we can just place signs next to them, and it just looks like something. Same sort of thing over here. So like above here, we could have some screens. Like they obviously won't work. But the screens could just be made out of item frames with white glass pane inside of them. And then oak signs next to the screen. And they could say something like, train arrives at blah, 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 blah. You guys get the picture. And once we have done all of that, I mean, we're kind of done with that room. Again, a very basic room, very simple room, but it's got some charm. It's got a little bit of character to it, I think. Moving on down into the final room here, we are going to add some tables. So spruce fence, we need some green carpet here. Maybe some flower pots and flowers again. Use different flowers, by the way, guys. Lantern, We'll probably need that trapdoor again, and we might even need some like light grey concrete and also some white concrete too. And everywhere, all the gaps in between these tables, we're just going to stick ourselves spruce fence, and we're going to stick a carpet on top. Going to place flower pots occasionally, and like maybe a lantern as well. In here in this corner, we're just going to have light grey concrete, and that is basically just going to represent some things you can like add to your coffee and stuff, maybe some sugar. We can have like a tripwire hook here and a flower pot, and we can have say like item frames above like this, and we'll fill those item frames up in a bit. We're going to place white concrete along the back of the counter here, and another lantern, and maybe like a couple of pots on the desk area too. Maybe a birch trap door here on the right, and we'll be having like we'll be using some brewing stands here as well. So we'll have like a part, and then we'll have like a gap of two, and then like another part. And next to these is also going to be some furnaces as well, just for some cooking. We're going to place tripwire hooks above the pot. So actually, as a matter of fact, if we place a pot here, and if we place the pot here, yeah, no, there it can stay, and then we can just have like that. And yeah, I think that actually looks all right. And then we can have, yeah, that'll look just fine. And then if we place some item frames kind of like above and in between all of that stuff, we can fill all those in too. And basically just the last little bits of items that we need now that, let me get rid of all these. Just the last little items that we need. I mean, it's such a small amount of items. I'm sure that I'll be able to squeeze it on the list for you. We basically need, say, like cocoa beans. We need some sweet stuff that you'd want to buy at a coffee shop. So like, nah, not bread really. More so like cake and cookies. We need brewing stands as well, wherever brewing stands are. I'm finding it difficult to find all this stuff. Furnace, and maybe like some detector rail, so we can add detail as well. And I want some sugar as well to fill in the right side over there. So basically, I'm just going to chuck a couple of furnaces in here, and I'm going to place some detector rails on top. I'm going to place brewing stands next to those two cups, and I'm going to place coffee above the like tripwire hook / brewing stand parts, and I'm just going to place like cakes and cookies like in the other item frames. This little confectionery area, I don't know if you could call it a confectionery, but we can just have like sugar in these parts, and then you could even have like cakes kind of like strewn about the place. And I mean, it's a pretty nice, cozy looking coffee shop here, honestly. You could even have like a little I called it a confectionery, but I don't think that that's really the right name for it. I don't quite know how to define a confectionery, to be honest. But basically, like where you get extras for your coffee and stuff like here, we can just have like the sugar, and we can have just like cups here, you know, something like that, just to kind of like add a little something. And ladies and gentlemen, once you've done all of that, believe it or not, we are kind of done with this whole thing. The whole thing, ladies and gentlemen, it's all been done. There's nothing that is left. We've done the whole thing. That is insane, ladies and gentlemen. I cannot believe that we have finished this tutorial. This is what the outside of your bus station should look like. There should be a huge amount of road and paths, and also some greenery, plenty of places for buses and cars alike to park, and we should also, of course, have the bays on the front of our bus station as well. And as we move into the bus station, we have a few different parts, don't we? We have this long hallway that connects both sides of the bus station together, colourfully decorated. We have machines to tell us the times of the buses, the schedules, and perhaps we can even buy tickets. Plenty of seating, plenty of lounging, as one would expect. We have a bathroom that anybody can use, even dogs. And we also have some toilets in here as well, toilet paper on the walls. We have a sink, a little hand dryer, and some soap dispensers and stuff like that. As we move through our bus station, we have a little lounging area over here, as you can see, but it's also adjoined to a place where you can actually get some help from some people instead of just like machines. Plenty of signs everywhere, plenty of times and all sorts of things like that. If you wanted to get a drink or just chill out, grab something to eat before your long journey, then we of course have a cafe / coffee shop here too. It's a pretty cool bus station, ladies and gentlemen. I do hope that you guys have enjoyed it. That's it. We're done. I do hope that you guys have enjoyed this tutorial. If you have, please do remember to subscribe to the channel if you're new around here and click that little bell next to the subscription button. We are not ending the bus saga with this video. We are going to be making 4 different kinds of buses and a bus stop in the next set of videos, all coming soon on the channel, so you're going to want to be subscribed. Not only that, if you do subscribe, you'll be able to see all of my other city builds, and the best place to find all of this stuff, all of the other bus tutorials, all of the other city builds, card system, description below, top of the comment section, you'll be able to find all of the stuff there. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. I appreciate all of you very much. I love you all very much, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye!